We all get embarrassed from time to time, and of course there are many awkward situations whilst diving. We spent minutes researching this and found a few funny stories to go along with mine. Hi, I'm Mark from Simply Scuba, and none of these involve me directly, as I've never embarrassed myself whilst diving, I'll have you know. So all of my students can stop watching right now and don't bother commenting below about anything that I've done over my career. This is 5 embarrassing scuba diving stories. Number 1. Vomit. Seasickness and scuba diving is not a great combination, but most divers have felt ill whilst on a dive boat at least once in their lifetime. Whilst diving in Egypt, a buddy of mine can strongly recommend that you do not try the house red wine obelisk, as the following morning when he went out for a dive on his rebreather, he had to throw it all back up again, twice, in quick succession. And let me tell you, this is not so easy to throw up on a closed circuit rebreather. To save the vomit from being recirculated back round to you, you have to switch it to open circuit, take the mouthpiece out, throw up, put it back in again, and switch it back to closed circuit before you can breathe again. Alcohol and repetitive movement on a boat is not conducive to having a good time. Number 2. Smiling. This next one comes from Reddit user HebrewHammer015. Smiling tends to break the seal of your mask and sometimes let water into your mouth. So what this witty instructor decided to do was to teach his students to be as miserable as possible while scuba diving. One of the things this user tells Discover divers is the only way they're going to get water in their mouth during a regular dive is if they smile too big. However, one time a woman has a little freak out and was shooting up to the surface. He manages to stop her and she gives him the something wrong sign and points to her cheek. He automatically thinks toothache, which is the bane of many instructors' existence because there's nothing we can fix. When they both got to the surface after a nice slow ascent, and whilst he's inflating her BCD, she spits out her reg and yells, "I'm smiling too much, I'm gonna drown." Students will take anything you say literally, so you have to be careful what you tell them. You're allowed to smile whilst you're under the water, you can enjoy yourself, just don't break the seal of your mask or your regulator. Number 3. Unzipped. It's always embarrassing when you go out unzipped and you often feel a chill, as this scuba board user found out. Marcienko was doing a beach dive in his standard 7mm wetsuit setup. With the water temperature around 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 degrees Celsius for the civilized among us, upon entering the water, he noticed that the water was much colder than the last time he was diving. After a few minutes, he got to his favourite dive spot and started to take pictures. Since he doesn't move much and can spend 30 minutes or 40 minutes at one spot, he tends to get a little cold at the end of each dive. This time though, he noticed getting quite cold unusually fast, within 10 or 15 minutes of starting the dive. Marcienko decided to cut his dive short, since at this point he was really getting cold. When he got to the shore and removed his BCD, he noticed that he didn't zip up his wetsuit. Lesson learned, do not put on your scuba gear and talk to someone on the phone at the same time. Number 4. Underinflated. This story comes to us from Diver Girl from the scubadiving.com forum. It's important to stay positive on a dive, as this forum member will attest. Whilst out diving one day in Hawaii, Diver Girl saw some black shadows under the boat. She understood that it's a lot easier to throw your gear in the water and put it on whilst you're in the water than trying to get kitted up and do a giant stride off the side, or so she thought. She realised the shadows under the boat were spinner dolphins, and she wanted to get in the water as soon as possible to go dive with them. Well, in her haste, she threw in her gear into the water without inflating the BCD. She was laughing hysterically as she watched her gear slowly sink down to the bottom without her in it. As with everything in life, when you get excited, it's very important not to jump into things unprepared without setting up your equipment first. Number 5. Nemo Attacks. For our final embarrassing story, we will mention no names, Dave, who managed to anger a clownfish. As you most likely know, the clownfish are adorable, brightly coloured small fish. However, you wouldn't want to make them angry, as Dave found out. If you get too close to their anemone, they will attack. Well, one such clownfish did just this. It flew straight up to Dave and took a bite out of his lip. They may be small and cute from the films, but they do actually have some teeth. So do you have any embarrassing dive stories you wish to share? It's okay, it's a safe place to get any awkward stories off your chest. Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit that like, share and subscribe, and thanks for watching.